بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. So the era of the two Imams, Imam al-Baqir and Imam al-Sadiq, probably is the most important time and era for the development of the Shi'i Ithna Ashari legislation, because they are considered the main founders of the Imami Ithna Ashari tradition. Started with the first steps with Imam Zain al-Abidin after the martyrdom of his father, Imam Hussein, but then it was really launched very forcefully during the time of the fifth Imam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, and it was continued during the time of his son, which reached its climax during the time of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. So this period, these 5 decades, from 95 Hijri until almost 150, is the most important time for the shaping of the Ja'fari tradition. And of course other traditions too, because many of them were contemporary. 2 of them were contemporary to Imam al-Sadiq. Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik were contemporaries. So the Imam, their work was focused on 2 things. Number 1, ta'aleem. So, ta'aleem, they, in the mosque of the Prophet, they had a specific ruwaq. Ruwaq is, I mentioned this before, ruwaq is sort of gallery, where they had a chair there, kursi, a chair to teach. So that was their university, that was their building, their school, their institution, Masjid al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Whoever comes first to Medina, the first stop is Masjid al-Nabi. Center of religion, center of education, center of the command, central command, for military activities. Everything was there. So they were very visible. Imam al-Baqir, Imam al-Sadiq, they had their own specific corner or gallery or riwaq in Masjid al-Nabi, and it was open. No need for registration. You don't go online to register. You just walk in. And sometimes the great leaders like Abu Hanifa, when he would come in, and he would join, he would sit, he would listen to Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and Imam Malik too. And their homes were always open. I remember when I was a child, when I first went to Hajj, 50 years ago. We used to go to downtown Medina between Masjid al-Nabi and Baqi'. That area now, it's a big plaza, open plaza. It's open. But this used to be Mahallat Bani Hashim. This neighborhood was the neighborhood of Bani Hashim. The Prophet and his family, they lived in this neighborhood. Old neighborhood. It was demolished, unfortunately. And the homes of Imam al-Baqir and Imam al-Sadiq were there in that area, Mahallat Bani Hashim. So not only they taught at the masjid, but their homes also was open. Whenever people come to Hajj and they visit Medina, they come and visit them at home, either at the masjid or at home. People carry questions with them. When they go to the Imam is the marja', the reference for knowledge. So people, some of them are scholars, some of them are lay people. They carry their questions, their inquiries to the Imams. So it was focused on 2 things. One of them is education, because there was a need The other thing, other element that made this need important is what? Why during these times of the two Imams?
That was the change, shift in power between the Umayyad dynasty and the Abbasid.
And what happened as a result of this shift of power? What happened?
They were in clash with
They were clashing, but at the same time, what happened during this clash?
lots of
Politicians were fighting. So what happened?
Israeli.
Exactly. There were influence of other cultures, other philosophies, the Roman philosophy, the Greek philosophy, the Indian philosophy, the Persian philosophy. They infiltrated the society. So people used to bring books. Some of these books are translated to Arabic. And before that, people of Medina they were not exposed to the outside. They did not know what is happening outside. But now they are exposed to other philosophies. And many of these philosophies were anti-Islamic, were based on atheism, ilhad. So the Imams, they found it mandatory upon themselves to protect Islam, to protect Islam. The hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. إذا كثرت البدع, at a time where inventions are on the rise. Bid'ah. Each one says something which is baseless. Bid'ah is baseless, does not have any basis in religion. Okay? فعلى العالم أن يظهر علمه. A time comes, society is confused. Everyone is saying something about religion, about aqidah. Everything has an idea. Everyone is a philosopher himself. Here, the real scholar has to show يظهر علمه. You cannot hide anymore. You have to speak. It's mandatory upon you. Because this is a critical time. People are confused. Everyone is saying something. Then you must speak the truth. You must show them the way. Imagine you are traveling in a desert. 10 people. Each one says the direction. One of them says this is the direction. The other says this. That. But one of them, he knows. He has GPS. So that person has to save them. He has to say, no, listen, this is the real direction. Here, follow me. فَعَلَى الْعَالِمِ أَنْ يُظْهِرَ عِلْمَهُ. If he refrain from sharing his knowledge and his guidance, فَعَلَيْهِ لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ. Wow, powerful. Then God is going to curse him. Curse that scholar who doesn't share his knowledge. So here the Imams, though they lived under the tyranny of Bani Umayyah, and then after that Bani al-Abbas, and both of them were poisoned, and both of them were killed, and both of them were persecuted, but yet they had to share their knowledge because people are confused. It was a time of the resurgence of various philosophies and doctrines and ideas infiltrating the Islamic society. So here the Imams are the children of the Prophet, not others. They are the children of the Prophet. They inherited the Risala, the message from the Prophet. So if they do not help, who's going to help? If you don't protect your house, who's going to protect your house? So they had to step in and step up to their responsibilities. And therefore, their sessions was amazing. Even people who did not like the Imams, they had to come and listen to them. Famous professor comes to town, very knowledgeable. Everyone wants to listen to him. At that time, there is no YouTube, okay, there is no live streaming. So you have to go there. You have to listen to the Imam. And among their students, some of them became leaders of madahib later on. One of them is Abu Hanifa, one of them is Imam Malik, one of them indirectly Al-Shafi'i, Muhammad ibn Idris al-Shafi'i, indirectly Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. They were their students. And other madahib too, Sufyan ibn Ayniyah and such and such and such. Those leaders of madahib, who established the madahib later on, are the students of those two imams. So their work was focused on two things. One, education, ta'aleem, ta'aleem. Ta'aleem is general. So they provide their knowledge for the masses. But then there was another thing here.
Nurturing, rearing.
Exactly, which was a special. This was not general. What was it? Ta'aleem? What was it? What should I put here? Ta'aleem, education, was general. Like when I stand on the podium, I give a speech. Everyone can listen. But then we have special classes. Huh? Huh?
Fellowship.
Tarbiyah, nurturance. Nurturance, tarbiyah. Raising, nurturing, coaching, training. It cannot be general anymore. Here you have to focus. Tarbiyah means you select, you take some people from public, those who are interested, those who are sincere, those who are intelligent, those who are willing to learn and disseminate their knowledge, and then you focus on them, you raise them. Tarbiyah. And the tarbiyah had three branches. The process of tarbiyah of the imams had three branches. Let me write them down. So I'm going to erase this education. You know they were focused on two: education, ta'aleem, and tarbiyah. Let me erase this. And let's come to tarbiyah, which has how many branches? Three branches. Tarbiyah. Nurturance. Has three branches. Branch number one is what? What was the branch number one? What was the first step of tarbiyah? No. When they are nurturing someone, I am nurturing this boy, this girl, this son, this daughter, this student, this disciple, this friend. So what is my approach?
You're assessing them.
Exactly. How do I assess them? How? Show me. Give me a practical way.
You do a test or test their knowledge and see what they're interested in.
The first step is tamreen. Train them. Training. Tamreen. Which is, it's a training. Process of training and coaching. Practicing. You allow him to practice in front of you. Practice is what? Practicing what? Practicing to become what? Train him to become what? Scholar, faqih. So train him to learn what? To learn the process of what? Deduction. Or what else we can call it, Dr. Ali? Derivation. Ijtihad. Teach him to be mujtahid. Thinking. Okay? Reasoning, because you have ijtihad is reasoning. Fiqh, tafaqquh is reasoning. Tafaqquh. Reasoning. So they teach them, they coach them how to be mujtahid. You have to teach him the way, show him the way. Otherwise, he's going just to be listener and he's going to repeat what you say. But you have to teach him how he fishes. You have to teach him fishing. You don't fish for him. You show him the way, and then you tell him, do it right in front of me. So this process of, there were three things. Three things, my friends. One of them was tamreen. The other two things, I might not mention them tonight. Maybe I will, maybe I not. I want to focus on this tamreen. Tamreen. Imam knew that during their lifetime, they are available. You go to the Imam is accessible. You ask him, the Imam gives you the answer. But what if you live too far from Medina? You can't see the Imam. You cannot see him, not even once a year, not even once in 10 years. So here, what is the solution when the Imam is not there to give you the first-hand answer, correct answer?
Train students and send them.
Exactly. Train them to do what? Train them to tafaqquh. The process of ijtihad. The process, tafaqquh is the process of ijtihad. So you teach them that method. You show them the way. And this is exactly what happens today in Bahth al-Kharij. Bahth al-Kharij, the free discussion, after you finish 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, you are entitled to join Bahth al-Kharij. Bahth al-Kharij, the professor who's sitting there is teaching you, showing you the process of derivation. How to derive the law from the Sunnah, from the Quran. This is what he teaches you. And then after a few years, you are able, and he will test you. How does he test you? Through the discussion. He knows this guy, well, this guy is genius, because he's asking me from his questions. So this is how ijtihad started, under the supervision of the Imams. I'll give you an example. The Imams tried always to create the intellectual ability in their students, to make them feel self-confidence, that I want you to derive. Try to derive. I'm watching you, don't worry. So they will show them the general principles. What are the general principles?
The maxims.
Exactly, the maxims. These maxims are taken from what?
Rasulullah.
Either it's a verse in the Quran or hadith. This is called maxim. So he will throw the maxim and he says this maxim has many applications. This maxim, قاعدة الفقهية, jurisprudential maxim, which we studied for a long time. If you go to the tapes, for a couple of years we were studying examples of jurisprudential maxims, قواعد الفقهية, jurisprudential. It has many applications. It's a general law that applies to different areas. So the Imam gives them the general principle, which is the maxim, and then he says, show me now how you apply it to this situation, to that situation. For instance, an example of that. In the riwayah, Imam al-Sadiq, this is what he said. This is very, very important sentence, my friends. This is very important sentence. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, عن أبي عبد الله الصادق إنما علينا, it's upon us, أن نلقي إليكم الأصول, أن نلقي إليكم الأصول. It's upon us only to show you the maxims, to teach you, نلقي إليكم, to teach you the maxims. وعليكم, but upon you, the students, التفريع. عليكم التفريع. And upon you, وعليكم, this is a very important hadith. It shows how the Imams were teaching their students. What is tafri' here? The application. The application. The application. How to apply. Tafri', in fact, it's a branching. A branching, but here in this context, it means the application. I'll give you the general rules and you apply it to certain situations. We show you the general rules and you have to take it from us, memorize it, and whenever you come to a situation, you can use these keys. These are like keys, master keys, to open these doors. Now, one of these rules, one of these maxims is known as one of these maxims when it comes to riwayah, ilm al-riwayah. Let me, can I delete this? Yeah. Is it okay to delete everything? Huh? Okay. One of them is ilm al-riwayah. When it comes to the science of riwayah. Riwayah is what? Riwayah is narration. Okay? Riwayah is narration. Riwayah is narration. Ilm al-riwayah is the science of hadith, the science of narration. Now, the Imams, they gave a maxim here. And that maxim is known as جواز نقل الحديث بالمعنى. I'll explain that, don't worry. If the sentence is big, I'll make it very easy. جواز, permissibility, جواز نقل الحديث بالمعنى. The permissibility of transmitting, نقل, transmitting the riwayah, the narration, بالمعنى. بالمعنى as opposed to what? As opposed to what? Who is بالمعنى as opposed versus what? النص. What is the difference?
One is like, let's say, the text versus what it was meant.
Exactly. This is text. Hajj Najat. This is text. This is spirit or meaning. What does that mean? It means I say a sentence now here. 5 students are sitting, 10 students are sitting in the classroom. They hear my sentence, they go home, they don't memorize the verbatim of the sentence, but they understand the meaning of it. Sometimes there are some people who memorize exactly what the teacher says, verbatim, word by word, sentence by sentence. This is memorization. Sometimes it's not memorization, but I understand what you told me. I understood the meaning. I got the meaning. I got the spirit, the essence of what you said. Now, can people memorize the hadith verbatim? Some of them do, but the others, all people that have this ability? No. Not all people have this ability. Some people are very intelligent, they have sharp memory, they listen to the Prophet, but not all people. وَتَعِيَهَا أُذُنٌ وَاعِيَةٌ Surah Al-Haqqa, chapter 69. وَتَعِيَهَا أُذُنٌ وَاعِيَةٌ A listening ear. When this verse came, Hajjah, the Prophet said, سَأَلْتُ اللَّهَ تَعَالَى أَنْ يَجْعَلَهَا فِي عَلِيِّ بْنِ أَبِي طَالِبٍ. I want this listening ear that does not forget to be Ali, because he's always with me. I want him to memorize what I'm saying. From that day, Ali ibn Abi Talib, whenever hears any sentence from the Prophet, he would memorize it exactly. No more, no less. But that's a special case. This is the dua of the Prophet. God answered the Prophet's prayers. وَتَعِيَهَا أُذُنٌ وَاعِيَةٌ. And then God says, a listening ear would memorize this, would understand it. But that's a rare case. Most of the people, they cannot memorize the exact sentence. So the Imams gave us permission that if you don't memorize my hadith and you might increase one letter or one word on one sentence or decrease, then that would be okay. It's not a sin. It's not a sin. Because you are transmitting the spirit of that. جواز نقل الحديث بالمعنى. As long as you don't change the meaning, as long as you do not change the meaning, so if you don't memorize the exact sentence, it's okay. It's permissible. Any question? Therefore, Muhammad ibn Muslim, one of his best students, the best students of Imam al-Sadiq, said to him, Yabna Rasulullah. How many best students he had? Do you remember from a few weeks ago? 6. The top notch were 6. Okay? One of them is Muhammad ibn Muslim. He said to him, Yabna Rasulullah, Asma'ul haditha mink. I listen to the hadith from you, O the son of the Prophet. فَأَزِيدُ وَأَنْقُص. Sometimes I go home after 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. I might add or I might delete. Not deliberately, but I can't memorize the exact sentence. The Imam said to him, إن كنت تريد معانيه فلا بأس. If you can transfer the meaning of it, لا بأس. لا بأس means what? Okay, okay. لا بأس means okay. So this is called what? This hadith is called what? What do we call it? A maxim. Ahsan, Saeed. Say, don't worry. Say, this is a maxim. This is a maxim. So this maxim is used in what? What area? What field is used? In ilmul riwayah. Ahsan. So we have now a rule that if I do not memorize the verbatim of the hadith, if I know the meaning of it and I don't change, I don't tamper with the meaning, then it's okay to say that hadith. It's okay to repeat the hadith, but you know you are not repeating the exact verbatim. You might delete something, a letter or word, but it's okay. As long as you don't change what? The spirit and the meaning. Okay? This is number 1. Now, another maxim. We receive 2 conflicting hadith. Again, this is in riwayah. This is when it comes to riwayah, narration. When it comes to riwayah, to the field of riwayah, to the field of riwayat and narrations. We listen to riwayatayn muta'aridatayn, conflicting hadiths or riwayah or narrations. Both from the same Imam. Or one of them from Imam al-Baqir, the second one from Imam al-Sadiq. Or both from the same Imams. 2 riwayah. يأتي عنكم الخبران أو الحديثان المتعارضان فبأيهما آخذ. Which one I take? Because they are conflicting with each other. What is the solution here? Yeah?
You take both hadith and compare them to the Quran and see which one is in closer alignment to the Quran?
It has a process. The process is number 1. Number 1. Imam said to him, خذ بما اشتهر بين أصحابك ودع الشاذ النادر. Take what is more, number 1, more popular among your companions. meaning the trustworthy people. If this hadith, one of them, one of those conflicting, is more popular among the trustworthy, then you have to lean towards that one. Take that one. خذ ما اشتهر. This is why in fiqh we have a term called what? شهرة. أحسنت. شهرة. الشهرة. الشهرة means it's popular. People know about this. They practice it. It's popular. So popularity has some worth and value here. Okay? He says, the person says, Ya ibn Rasulullah, both of them are popular. Both of them are popular. So what shall I do here? What is the next step? So both of them are popular. If both are popular.
Look at the chain of narration.
What does the Imam say? خذ, exactly, as Sister Najat mentioned. خذ بأعدلهما عندك وأوثقهما في نفسك. أعدلهما أعدلهما أوثقهما. أعدلهما, more just and more trustworthy. So find who is the chain of narrator, the one who's narrating this hadith. Who is more just and more trustworthy? Then take that one. Follow that one. What do we call this maxim here? This is a maxim. Maxim in ilm al-riwayah. So how we nickname it? What title we put to this maxim? This is a maxim. Huh? Shuhra is part of it. Part of it. But how about this? Look at this. Conflicting hadiths. So what title we should? When there is conflicting, to what side we lean, we should lean at the time of conflict, when there are conflicting riwayas, conflicting hadith. What do you call this? Huh? No. I just told you. Huh? Look at what I'm saying. Leaning. Leaning. So leaning in Arabic is what? Huh? Al-murajjihat. Al-murajjihat. Murajjihat, that weighs in. Things that weighs in. Things that makes you lean more towards one thing. Like incentives. Incentives, okay? Murajjihat. Are you with me? If you don't understand, let me know. I want you to digest this. Yes, Saeed.
Question for the more popular, mainstream, would that translate to today, like whichever one more mujtahids?
More used,
Yeah.
more in use. This is the meaning of more popular. More in use. They are using it. They are depending on it more. This is shuhra, mashhur, mashtahar. So here, this maxim is called al-murajjihat. Al-murajjihat, it means, huh? The one that makes you lean to one side. It makes you lean to one versus the other. To one side versus the other. Murajjihat.
In that specific area.
In that specific area, of course. Because sometimes we receive regarding this, should I do qasr here or tamam? One riwayah says you have to do qasr. The other riwayah says you have to do tamam. Conflict here. Should I fast or I should not fast today? One riwayah says, yeah, you may fast. The other riwayah says, no, don't fast. So here, when we have conflicting, we have to go through process. Number one, shuhra. Which one is more practiced? Go to the one that is more practiced. If both of them are the same level, then now look at the source of this narration. Who is more reliable? Who is more just? Who is more trustworthy? then take that one.
Another question: if there's shuhra and two masail, and there's ikhtilaf between like the marja'iyya, does this occur? So, like where there may be
This shuhra is not equal.
Ah.
One of them is more than the other.
Ah.
The popularity of one of them is more than the other. Otherwise, if they are equal, then it cannot be exactly equal. It cannot be exactly equal. And if they are equal, then we have to go to this, to the second element. Because the first element is not helping us. Both of them are equal in shuhra. So we have to go to the second element, which give us a sway. A sway. Murajjahat is swaying. The swayers that sway you to one side. This is the meaning of murajjahat. So this maxim is called what? The maxim of swaying. I'm going to ask you in the test. What is the meaning of the maxim of swaying? You have to tell me this. You have to tell me that it's about conflicting hadiths, okay? And we see which one has more credibility than the other. These credibilities are called swayers. Yes?
Okay, just a quick question. I don't know if it's a question or just something we can. Why go with shuhra but not consensus for the first one?
No, consensus is different. Consensus is different, and we studied this several months ago, 2 years ago. The difference between shuhra and consensus.
Because consensus, you have more of the scholars together and
Yeah.
reasoning out.
The consensus, it means that we also believe that the opinion of the imam is among those. The consensus.
Right.
رأي الإمام, the Imam al-Ma'soom.
Right.
That he is. If we are to get his opinion on this specific mas'ala, we find him supporting, siding with this group. But how can you reach that? It has to be a high level of confidence.
Right. Well, the
Shuhra is below consensus.
right. Below it, it's more traditional.
Exactly.
Sort of.
It's below.
But we can
It's
go-
below. It is popular, but we are not sure whether the opinion of the Imam is siding with this.
And
We
this
don't
one
know.
has history, so we go with this one because it has a history in the background.
Yes.
Thanks for asking. I was getting a little
Alright,
confused.
okay.
And I was like, I was thinking consensus and
Yeah.
marja'iyya. That's why I was going down that route. Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
Now, let's take one. So these maxims are in riwayah. Let's take one maxim in which we studied earlier. We take it in fiqh. Fiqh, our daily practice. Let's come to specifically fiqh, salat. Okay, prayers. He asks the Imam. عن إسماعيل بن جابر قال أبو جعفر. Who's Abu Ja'far, my friends? Imam Muhammad al-Baqir. Abu Ja'far al-Baqir alayhi السلام. Listen to this maxim. إن شك في الركوع بعدما سجد فليمضي. إن شك. If the musalli, the one who's performing the prayers, has doubt in his ruku', but when after he reached sujood, إن شك في الركوع بعدما سجد. Now he's in the state of sujood. While he's in the state of sujood, he said, okay, listen, did I do ruku'? Or I came from qiyam right away, I threw myself to the floor, to the ground for sujood. Did I do ruku' or not? Or I did ruku', did I read something or I was silent? So what is the solution here? Think about it. What do you think? Now he's in the state of sujood. He pauses for a second. What should I do?
If he's confused or he knows for sure. He
No. No, shak, doubt.
Keep going.
Keep going. Accept it as he
That,
did it.
faragh, right.
Imam says,
Keep going.
فَلْيَمْضِ. فَلْيَمْضِ means what? فَلْيَمْضِ. Let him continue. So what do we call this? This becomes what? This hadith becomes what? Sa'id. This hadith becomes what?
Maxim.
Maxim. You want to sneeze? Go ahead.
I was about to, but it's gone. It's gone. Shukran.
Okay? So this is called maxim. What do we call it? This maxim, should we use it only for ruku' and sujood or something else?
Other things too.
Yeah,
Why other things?
In your whole prayer.
Why?
make life easier.
Give me the reason why.
Because
Because the one,
all it is connected in
Because it's a maxim, and the maxim means general rule, not a specific. If it is specific, then it's not a maxim. Don't call it maxim.
But Said, how do you know if it's a maxim? In that with
The Imam tells you. The Imam tells you.
he
The
says
Imam,
maxim.
yeah. The Imam, and then after that, وَإِن شَكَّ فِي السُّجُودِ بَعْدَمَا قَامْ فَلْيَمْضِ. He gives you another example. If he has now doubt in his sujood, but after he stood for the second rak'ah, he's asking himself, I stood now, سمع الله بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد, then I'm reading the second rak'ah, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب. Wait a second, did I do sujood or not? Did I read in my sujood something or I was silent? I fell asleep. So Imam says, فَلْيَمْضِ. Because now you passed that. So we know from the words of the Imam is training his students that this is a maxim. This is a maxim which could apply to other areas too, not just this specific example. You can stretch it to others.
But you're deriving the maxim from the sentence because the sentence is phrased
Yes.
as the application.
Yes. Yeah, well, I'm deriving it, yes. I'm deriving the maxim from the hadith. The hadith becomes itself a maxim, which can be applied to other situations too. So this maxim is called what?
majmua.
Hmm?
What did you call it?
I didn't call it anything yet.
Oh, you didn't call it?
No, leaning that, don't get confused. Yusuf, leaning was about the riwayah. Now we are in fiqh. That was about riwayah, murajjihat. No. That one's different, something completely different. This is in the prayers. That one, murajjihat, was in the ilm, the science of riwayah, hadith. We finished with that. We came to the second one, science of fiqh. Specifically salat, prayers, specifically when he has doubt in the practices of the salat. So this maxim is called what? No, shak is doubt. The maxim,
Something to do with the prayer, yeah.
exactly. Well, what is it? Qa'idat what?
Prayer.
We studied this. We studied this 2 years ago.
Is that faragh?
Exactly. Qa'idatul faragh. Qa'idatul faragh. The maxim of what? Faragh means what?
You pass it up.
Passing. You passed it, khalas, behind you. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Because you passed it, you came into another movement, another phase of the prayers. So leave it behind you. Unless, as you said, he knows, no, I know myself, I didn't do sujood. Then I sit down, I do the one. I repeat it. But if I don't know, Ilahi, I don't know. Did I do sujood? Not. Did I do ruku' while I'm doing sujood? Okay, so here, فَلْيَمْضِ. فَلْيَمْضِ, let him pass. So it became to known as قَاعِدَةُ الْفَرَاغ. The Imams would teach their students. And they use these maxims, these rules, general rules, to apply them. And this called ijtihad. And when they tell you, how do you say this? how do you tell me when I passed the third rak'ah, okay, I'm in the third rak'ah and I don't know about my tashahhud. Tashahhud is in the second rak'ah, yes? Don't we have tashahhud in the second? Tashahhud, not taslimha. Tashahhud. Tashahhud we have in the second rak'ah. And now I stood for the third rak'ah. Did I do tashahhud or not? You are asking me. I say, if you don't know, if you have doubt, check, then say, I pass it. You tell me, but there is no hadith. I say, yes, the hadith does not say exactly when you miss tashahhud, when you stand to the third. The hadith is a maxim. He gives me an example. And I can apply this example, this rule, to similar situations. And that is the process. This is one of the aspects of ijtihad. So you are one step further to ijtihad, all of you now.
Can you apply that?
You are one step now closer to ijtihad. You need another 5 billion steps, inshallah. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.